All right, in this video, we're going to talk about adding a point system to your game. Now, like with all things in Scratch, there are multiple ways to do this. So obviously, I'm going to walk you through some steps. There are other ways to do it, but to me, this is what seems to be the most simple. So first of all, I have a basic Pong game set up. I've already given it a timer. So it counts down, starts at 60, ends at 0. Now, I want my player to also get points in this game. In fact, I've decided I want every time the earth, which is basically the ball in this game, to hit the lightning bolt, that's going to gain a point. Every time the earth falls below and touches the red line, I want it to lose a point. That's just the basic parameters for points that I would like to set up for this game. So first thing I need to do is I need to be on my earth sprite. So I'm going to click on that to make sure that I am adding this code to the earth. It wouldn't really work since I'm adding points with one thing, taking points away with another thing. It really has to be on the earth for this code to work. So I'm going to first come to my events. I'm going to add when the flag is clicked. So when my game starts, I am going to then come to data, and I need to make a variable for score. I've already set up a variable for timer. You can set up as many variables as you need for your game. So I'm going to click this again, and I'm just going to type in score. Whatever word works for you, you can do that. And I'm going to go ahead. You can make it be for this sprite only. That does work for this. I'm just going to keep it here on all sprites. So I'm going to say OK. Now what I need to do is I would like my score to start at 0. So every time someone replays my game, their score is 0. So when the flag is clicked, I want set score to 0. You'll notice that there's this little drop down. Since I have a variable for score and timer, I can choose between these things, but we're currently seeing score, so I don't need to change anything. Okay, so when the flag is clicked, set score to 0. Now, I already have some code for what to do when the earth hits the lightning. So right here, it says when the flag is clicked, forever, if my earth touches the lightning, it's basically going to bounce off. It turns 180, and it doesn't just keep hitting it over and over and over. That's why you want that 1 second. But I also want when my earth touches the lightning, I want it to gain a point. So I'm going to say change score by 1. And I don't need to change anything in there. So each time I hit the lightning bolt, I gain a point. Okay. I would also like it, however, to lose a point if it touches this red line. So I'm going to have to add another if then. So I'm going to grab this if then, and I'm going to put it right here underneath this one because I need it inside the forever block. It's important that it's inside that. I could add this as another code. In fact, I actually could just put this set score to 0 here. I don't even really need this, but it has to be inside a forever block. That means that throughout the entirety of the game, this is a condition that will continue to last. So inside this if then, I'm going to come back over to my sensing. And because this is just a solid red line that's part of my background, I want that if it touches that color, it's going to lose a point. So I'm going to say if touching color, and to operate this, I'm going to click inside this little box, and then I want to click on the color that I'm referring to over here. So I'm going to click on the red. And so now I've got red in that box. So it says if touching color red, then I want it to change my score by -1. So I'm going to click change score, and I'm going to say -1. So now every time when I play, when my, oh, and then I also need a, wait 1 second. This essentially means that it will not just take away points as long as the earth kind of bounces through there. It gives it a little bit of time. So every time we hit the red, we're going to lose a point, and it does have to wait a second before it moves on to the next thing. So we can kind of play it to test it out. Every time I hit it, I get a point. Okay. If I miss it and it goes and touches the red line, it took away a point. Okay, so that's adding a point system to our game. Like I said, however, there are lots of ways to do this. If you find a way that works better for your game, obviously, by all means, go for that. The main thing with a point system is you have to make a variable for it, and then you need to tell it when it either gains or loses a point. You also want to make sure that you have it so that the point system starts at 0 when the flag is clicked or when the game starts, unless you want it to start at a different number, but you want to have a set score at the beginning of the game so that if someone plays your game once, it doesn't just continue to have the same score throughout. Okay, so that's a point system for a game in Scratch.